Hi. So apparently my internet decided that it doesn't want to be unapologetically black and fast, and we're just going to go ahead and say that that's anti-black. But we're back now, and things are correct, and now we're no longer desynced. So we're here with day 2 of Unapologetically Black and Fast as the good Lord intended. I was just trying to let everybody know that we do have another marathon coming up later on this month for Frame Fatales. It's going to be our Frost Fatales that we do February 27th to March 5th. If you want more information about it, do !FF in chat to get that schedule, or conversely, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/Frame Fatales to get more information along with your hosting and your commentary. I'll be there for that, and hopefully my internet will not decide to troll me. Also, I think that was a direct side effect of me saying we passed our tech issues, and the universe said, oh, drop the bomb on her. So we're back, we're functioning, we're doing things great and fantastic. Sorry for the interruption, everybody. But now we're getting ready for, again, one of my favorite PS1 games under the sun. Lots of nostalgia, lots of childhood memories. Proto, tell us what you're going to be playing.
So we are playing Brave Fencer Musashi. Came out in, I'm going to say this wrong, it came out in 98 for the PS1. Definitely one of my favorites, and actually my first RPG period. Yeah. I still remember what happened. I had like $75 in my pocket from doing chores around the house. Granddad took me to Toys R Us, and I had a choice between a pair of inline skates and a new video game. And I was big on video games growing up, so I was like, you know what? Let's just go down. I already had a 10-speed bike. Look down. I see the game. I know nothing about it. I'm gonna be real. I got the game not because of the game itself, but because of the Final Fantasy VIII demo in the back.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. And that was in a time frame when demo discs were like all the rage, because if you couldn't afford to get games, or you couldn't like wait and you wanted to get something and try it out right away, that was the way you did it. And the Final Fantasy VIII demo, Squaresoft had, chat, we have to go ahead and just be transparent about this. Squaresoft had the PS1 RPG scene in a chokehold in the mid to late 90s. And Brave Fencer Musashi, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX. We had re-releases of things like Final Fantasy Tactics. That was also right before we did the whole thing with Vagrant Sword. Yeah, they had it in a chokehold. Xenogears is in there too. Saga Frontier is in that. Yeah, they had a lot of bangers.
Here's something that a lot of people don't know. All the games that came out for Squaresoft and early Square Enix game had something called a Millennium Collector's Edition. So games like Parasite Eve, Airgeist, Brave Fencer Musashi, Final Fantasy Tactics, Xenosaga, I think.
Xenogears and Xenosaga.
Xenogears, yeah, sorry. And Chrono Cross all came, had a collector's box that came with an assortment of things, as well as a Japanese version of the game. For Brave Fencer Musashi, which I feel like is kind of lame, you get part of it was lame. You get end credit scene postcards. You get a 6-pack of the Minkus that you collect for health in the game, and a Squaresoft fanny pack. And just to kind of compare, in the Final Fantasy Tactics, you get the game, you get a pack of playing cards that had the characters of Tactics in there, but you also got a wooden clock that had the 12 zodiac signs on the numbers.
Man, they really was doing it dirty about there. Like, it just, oh, you said a Squaresoft fanny pack, and I'm upset because current me is like, that's flames. But old school, like young me, I know for a fact is like, oh, who uses fanny packs? That's what my dad wants. And now I'm just like, ooh, I would rock that so hard. I would eat things up with a Squaresoft fanny pack.
Do you want my Squaresoft fanny pack?
Yes.
Okay, I will give you my Squaresoft fanny pack because it's literally just sitting there. No, I'm
you
serious.
for real?
Like, it's literally just sitting there, and I don't want it.
Chat, you heard it here first. Vanessa's getting the Squaresoft fanny pack. I'm going to wear it so many places that people are going to be like, this girl is weird. And that's okay. I'm fine
Look,
being weird.
I have one stipulation, though. I need you to, on stream, the next time when you get it, I need you to pull out lip balm or like chapstick or something, and I want to see you just pull it out, rub it around your lips one time, and put it back in. This isn't some weird thing. This just it's a joke that was made a while back. So you're kind of being brought into the joke.
That's fine. I can do that. That's easy peasy. But yeah, chat, for those of you who don't know, before we had the days of Square Enix, it was Squaresoft, and I mean nothing but back to back bangers. It was an absolutely beautiful and wonderful time to own a PSX or PS1, whichever one you want to call it. There's someone who's going to come in and say, well, technically it's this. And we all know that we're talking about the same system, whether you got the big gray square or the little rounded white one. It's fine. They all do the same thing. And we all had 20 memory cards that we forgot to put stickers on and we forgot to label. So before you could even boot up Brave Fencer Musashi, you had to put in your memory card to make sure you were using the right one.
Yep.
And then you look, oh, this has Final Fantasy and Street Fighter Alpha 3. Take that one out. Next card. Okay, this is the one that has Klonoa on it, and then it has Breath of Fire 3. Take that one out. And it's just a whole process. Oh, to be a child again. To be a child again. But I digress. We have a run to do. So let's get into this run of, again, a fantastic game, Brave Fencer Musashi for the PSX. Many will argue that it aged very poorly. I am not one to counter that argument. It kind of did. But nonetheless, it has a lot of good memories for a lot of people. Very fun, just characters. And the wine seller who's here in chat is especially going to laugh about this. This was my first exposure to a game that is literally nothing but a nonstop pun. The whole game is a pun.
We will, and I will explain.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's stop delaying everybody. Let's go ahead and get your run up and going. Whenever you're ready, you can count yourself down, and we will get this show on the road.
All right. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, and go. So right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and explain the puns. This game, you don't really get to hear a whole lot of story since all the cutscenes are skippable. But the story takes place in the all-you-can-eat kingdom. They are being threatened by the Thirst Quencher Empire. The princess, Princess Filet, summons Musashi into this world to get the legendary sword Lumina, get all of the elemental crusts, and defeat the Thirst Quencher Empire. Hold on a sec. Okay. And pretty much save the day. Typical hero stuff, right? You have characters like Sir Ribson. You have the Carpenters Dicey, QB, and I forget the other meat name. So it's very, very food pun. So what I just did right there, just to kind of explain, I took an ability called Gunshot. Gunshot allows us to knock down the bridge at the very beginning, like you saw me do, and it skips a small cutscene. Saves about, I'd say about 2 or 3 seconds. Gunshot is also used to break the statues needed to raise the tower in this part of the run. So we just do a direct left. Take a couple of shots and step on the panel. We'll hit this last one and get a brief cutscene. That'll give me enough time to adjust the audio on my mixer because this game is way loud on my end. There we go.
Now you can't keep tempting the audio demons like this. We already had 2 audio demons show up.
Oh no! I have a physical mixer in front of me that separates everything. So whatever, it's not affecting OBS or anything like that. What I'm doing right now, and I'll stop it just so you can see. If you noticed, I was jumping up the ramp here. Obviously, jumping up is faster than walking up. But also, if you do frame 1 jumps on the way up, the game doesn't register that you ever touch the ground. So it despawns all of the rollers and spike traps.
Ooh, that's nifty.
So
then you have less to deal with.
Yes. This part of the game, we do just like a small bit of grinding. We use the bats to help us get the money we need for the rest of the run. We might get lucky and get the legendary 500 Dran. We didn't get it there. We've got a few more times to make the attempt. I might take a few extra turns just to try and get a little extra money for the run. Up. Tens, they are not cooperating. Walk back down. Yeah, they did not want to. See if I can get this guy.
They're
oh no, he got away.
That money.
They are holding on to that money.
I'm about to say they're being stingy with it.
They really were. Normally, you could get you can get a couple 100 pieces, and that'll be good. But it's my luck we're talking about, so I didn't get any. Funnily enough, I was practicing earlier, and I got 2 500 pieces in the same row of bats. So that's probably where my 500 pieces
I was about to say, you burnt out your good luck because you was practicing and they gave it to you, and it's like, oh yeah, that reset. That's exactly what happened there. That reset. Disrespectful. All
right, I'm gonna do this real quick, and then I'll explain what's happening. And I messed it up. All right, it's fine. Everything's fine. We'll grab this guy. Okay, so in this part up here, what the game wants you to do is take advantage of your fusion ability called Assimilate, kind of like what we did with Gunshot. You assimilate the stun ability from these red guys. You have them come up to the platform that we stepped on. You stun them there. Then you can walk up and grab Lumina. What we do is we jump over the panel, turn around, and kind of put ourselves up on a guard. And this makes the red soldiers attack us. Now, during their attack animation is when we run and grab the sword. And that turns out to be a lot faster than just, absorbing the ability, guiding them over, hitting them with stun, then walking over. But of course, you can overstep like I did just then, and you end up going through the text of explaining what the panel is, what you should do to progress the story. And then in the old PS1 fashion, we have a Indiana Jones mini run.
I think my favorite part of this run always has been how many of these men, instead of also running, just proceed to stare at it and scream loudly that, oh God, it's coming. And it's like, if this ain't peak, this is not the correct response to a large boulder rolling towards you. Also for chat, something that I think is like a fun little tidbit about the Brave Prince of Musashi game at the base level. If you ever look at Musashi's face while he's running or fighting or doing any type of animations, it actually does change based on whatever he's talking about or whatever he's doing.
Yep.
And so for that whole segment, his face has like the small style anime eyes, and his arms are flailed out like he's actually in an anime, and it's done like that on purpose.
Shut up, you dumb gal, or else y'all gonna get a licking.
Oh yeah.
That is the best line in the game. That is the best line in the game. I wanted y'all to hear that.
So I know that you explained like all the puns and that we're in the all-you-can-eat kingdom. Mm-hmm. And specifically you're combating the Thirst Quencher Empire. I wanted to shine a little bit of light on what the game at large is about, because we're not really going to see it for obvious reasons, because we're trying to go fast. We're trying to explain the radical speed. So the entire story of Brave Prince of Musashi is that you have been quote-unquote summoned from another world to save the kingdom. And that is essentially what your entire journey is. You are the legendary Brave Prince of Musashi, and you have your regular everyday sword, which does your fusion techniques, which you'll see a couple of times throughout the run. It's going to be utilized to actually make some faster strats and get some specific abilities to kind of get through a bunch of obstacles very quickly. And then you also have your, oh God, I can't think of the name of the sword. That's the one you just picked up. I just saw it on screen. And Lumina, which is like the core of the entire story. Now, I'm not going to go into more of it until a little bit later because I think it's fun to watch the run and just watch as things progress. You'll be able to piece things along as you're going, but I'll give updates on what's important in the story as we're moving along. Again, this is like,
Yes.
I have been so looking forward to this run because this is one of my favorite games, as corny as it is. And then I don't know if you caught it, I think Proto said
But it's
earlier.
like good corny.
It is, it's a really good corny. And you have to save Princess Filet. And you get to meet her dad. Her dad's a bunch of meat puns too. I think the only things in the game that isn't a pun is like the everyday village folk.
Yes.
But everything else is a pun.
So, just to kind of explain this boss fight real quick, you can line yourself up fairly centered of the Steam Knight, and you can do a Lumina swing and hit both legs at the same time. The first phase is a lot easier than the second phase. I don't know what happens with the frames, but they're just a wee bit more spread out. So it's a little bit more difficult to hit those at the same time. But we ended up getting it. And then ideally what you want is to knock out both legs at the same time. If you don't do that, then the backup strat is knocking out the armor on the legs, moving to the left, hitting that leg, and then moving to the right and hitting the other leg. This exposes the core, allowing us to strike it and move on. You also notice that we did a bit of property damage, and I guess it's just what it is. I don't know if people had insurance around this time and age, but I really hope they did.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no, they didn't. They did not.
So I saw somebody mention the raft game. We're gonna skip that completely. We do not do the raft game.
I also see people mentioning lots of nostalgia in chat. People mentioning the Vambies. Another moment of just looking at it and going, wow, y'all really put that in the game. Do we want vampires or zombies? Why not both?
Why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Like, this is a game that in the current state, if you were to play it on my stream, probably half of it would be me just holding my head and just rubbing my temples and being like, oh, I just had to read that out loud. Wow. Love that for me. God.
Okay, so the reason we were getting the money that we needed was because there's kind of a sleep cycle for this game that we use. You manage a lot of things like your BP, your health, and there's a tiredness that you don't see on screen. You can see it when you press the pause menu or the pause button, but we use the N as a way to speed up the time to certain days. I jumped way too early. That's fine. Can't stand that guy. He's always in the way.
I said that yesterday. There's always one. There's always one.
So we're setting up for our first trick of the game. This trick, along with another one that we'll do later, is kind of a what keeps new runners from coming. This trick is literally a do or die. Not in a sense you literally die in the game, but there's no way to make it easier. We're essentially canceling the jump on the same frame that we land on the ground. This gives us an extended jump, allowing us to bypass the minigame, the raft minigame. So I'm gonna be quiet for a sec because I gotta listen for the audio cue.
Oh, I was gonna say I could talk for you, but if you listen for an audio cue, maybe it's better if I remain.
We got it.
Nice. Okay.
So now we're gonna push slightly to the left. It's gonna take a little while. And jump. And there we go. That is the raft game skip, and we get the L belt. Or bracelet, bracelet.
A lot of people in chat are rejoicing and just going, you know, if the alternative is playing the raft game, I'm about to learn some speedrun skips.
Yeah.
About to learn some speedrun skips.
There's some interesting ones in here. And I'm honestly, I've been looking forward to it just because I want to hear your reactions to them.
Oh yeah. Like, this is going to be, if everyone's been enjoying my commentary thus far, this is probably going to be the most obscene I'm going to be, because I know Brave Prince of Musashi relatively well, I'll say, because I've played it a long time ago, and like I said, it's near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of fond memories of it, but I've never actually seen like the full-blown start-to-finish speed run. And I'm just curious, and I'm just very curious about how some of these things are going to come into play, because I know that there's going to probably be some more tech with the day and night cycles, because the game does change depending on what cycle you're on. So it's really important how you handle your sleep. And even if you're not speedrunning the game, some of the areas in the game are going to be a lot easier to traverse, or you can't even get access to unless it's nighttime. And in other areas in the game, it's going to be things like, if you don't do it during the daytime, then you're just going to have to go to sleep and wake up in the morning and try it. The other thing is kind of going back to the fusion sword. The sword is specifically going to be important because I'm very curious about what specific moves you're going to be assimilating to make your run work. Because there's a lot of moves that are available in the game. I want to say almost every enemy, unless it's like a carbon copy of an enemy, has a move in the game that you can utilize in some way, shape, or form. And you can only have one move in your slot, if I recall correctly, at a time. Yes, it's only one move at a time. So you have to be very, very deliberate in what move you're going to have on deck for something.
So we're about to do a trick, and it's kind of relevant to what you were saying before, how there is a, you have to pay attention to what time you're in. So this guy right here blocks the path. We're just going to jump right over him.
Nope. Goodbye, sir.
Typically, you would have to wait until the evening, till when he walks away. He goes to the restaurant at night. But yeah, we're not going to do that.
Things we absolutely do not have time for.
So we're going to grab the shrink ability because it's needed for this guy. We get a body level for killing him. And we're going to hold on to shrink for a little while, just because it's going to be useful for some leveling strats. Hello, sir. Goodbye, sir. Some leveling strats that we're going to be doing. So, who's a fan of Steamwood? I'm not.
I'll say Steamwood. This is the area that, in order to get the we didn't even mention anything about elements yet.
No,
we haven't talked about that.
We're about to get into that here in a sec. But I mentioned Steamwood because we're actually not going to do it. We're going to completely skip it.
Oh, I need this strap right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just jack in.
So I'm gonna be quiet, but I'll explain it after it's done.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you who are wondering why there's a hatred for Steamwood, Steamwood in and of itself is kind of like a messy. If it's the place that I'm thinking of and recall, it's kind of like a messy puzzle setup, and you kind of got to do a lot of shuffling around back and forth, and you do a lot of work with steam valves, and the steam valves just suck. They suck because if you get hit by the steam, it's damage, but they're also on a timing cycle, so you have to make sure that you're turning the right cycles on and off, and you have to, Steamwood is something that I would recommend that you look it up on YouTube, watch it and go, wow, I'm really happy I never had to deal with that, and then come back. Oh, Steamwood. Yeah, I had to actually, I had to dig deep down in my soul to remember how that works. And luckily, it's one of those few things in the game that you do it once and you don't have to worry about it again. There's something that comes up later on that I think is very similar in frustration, but it's non-passable because it actually counts as a boss. So we'll get there.
There it
we'll
is.
Talk about it. Dope. So now that I've explained why everyone hates Steamwood, let's talk about what you did to bypass all that nonsense.
Yes. So I did a series of jumps. If I can recall my count, 7 up, 4 to the left, 2 up, 1 to the right, and then 9 jumps up to the top of the block. After that, you're going to, what you saw me with the amount of pausing I was doing, I was pause buffering because I was looking for specific frames to move Musashi to the left, back to the right, and then back to the left again. Now, Here's the cool and not so cool thing about this trick. Even if you do it right, the game can still deny you. This game has a internal clock, and you can think of it as 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off. If you do the trick within the 5 second time period when it's on, the game will deny you. Do it while it's off, you get the trick. The problem is that we have absolutely no way of figuring out what part of the clock we're on when we're doing it.
And I'm assuming this is more like an
This
internal...
is the second trick in the run that kind of deters people from going. But the thing is, you can still get a somewhat competitive time even doing Steamwood.
Okay. And it's something else I want to highlight too is you can see that there's a clock in the bottom right corner that just indicates what time of day it is. That is in no way, shape, or form even remotely helpful for the kind of like internal clock that Proto's referencing. It's just one of those things where you have to just pray for the best.
Yeah, the clock is internal, and there's no way to measure it based off of the clock that you see right there.
So while you're kind of doing some casual running back from what it looks like, do you want to explain what the guy was in the green kind of pyramid that you opened up?
Yes, so that guy was one of the denizens of All You Can Eat Castle. All You Can Eat Kingdom, sorry. That is a benchotite, and you, I forgot how many people you have to save, but there's a certain number of people that you have to save throughout the game. Each time you liberate someone from a benchotite, you get 5 BP added to your overall score at the bottom. So the green bar, which is kind of like magic in this game, that allows you to do more abilities throughout the run or throughout the gameplay. So I'm about to do this next trick, and I am going to need an audio. Listen out for audio cues. Essentially, what we're about to do is 4 frame-perfect jumps onto the roof of the church. And the jumps aren't what's hard; it's the last part of it.
Okay, well then, I'm just gonna take a quick moment to point out in chat that not only is Street Fighter Alpha 3 in the background, but please peep the Felicia above the TV that I've been eyeing kind of hard because I'm like, stream setup might be getting an upgrade.
Yep. You know what? I'll talk to you about the Felician stuff afterwards because I can tell you where to go for that.
I'm also just very happy that even though I'm like, oh, I'll do a small interjection, by the time I'm done, you're like, and I got it. I'm like, okay, I won't stay quiet after all. I'm afraid that I'm just afraid I'm gonna ruin your timing and impact your run, and more than anything.
So if this were 2 years younger Proto, yeah, I would have been like, hey, could you kindly stop talking so I can do this trick? But we're good. We are really good. So basically what we did was we skipped the Scorpion fight and we went right into the middle of chapter 3. This is where the priest gives us the rope, but now we're kind of stuck because we don't have double jump to get out. So what we're gonna do is called Church Escape, which is another series of frame perfect inputs. Grab that. Slide there, and there we go. I just stood on the barrier of the roof of the church to allow me enough height to get out. So now we're gonna go over here and take a little nap. We're gonna be doing this a lot, by the way. Just napping in the middle of the ground. It doesn't really matter what's going on around us. Boss fights, enemies, you know, it's kind of essential sometimes.
So I kind of want to expand a little bit more on the sleeping mechanic in this game. So you can go to an inn and do the classic RPG style, sleep, HP back, BP back, all that stuff, and it'll pass time really quickly. But the really nice thing about being able to just drop down and get some Z's right away in this is that it doesn't pass time as quickly, and it'll still slowly regenerate your health and your BP, or I think mostly your health.
Well, you lose BP. You lose BP.
I was gonna
over
say
time.
no. I have that one.
Yeah.
I have that one backwards. It'll still restore your HP, but specifically you want to take naps while you're outside. A, to lower your tiredness, like you can see on the stream, and then B, to pass time in a much more controlled sense. Because if you only need to get to like 1 hour past, then you just go ahead and conk out right quick on the ground, as opposed to having to go back to the inn and go to sleep, and now you've bypassed your window, or hoping that you can wait for time to naturally pass. It's just a really nice mechanic from that standpoint. Even not as a speedrunner, I exploited that all the time to be like, oh my god, I need to be nighttime and it's like 45 minutes away. I'm about to take a nap. I'm just gonna take a nap. It's fine.
So I will also note that sleeping on the ground is comparable to sleeping for 4 hours. So if you're in a position where you don't have the money to take a small nap, you can just sleep on the ground, and it's about the same amount of time. Because you have to take into account the cutscene going in, talking, selecting through the menu, and then the cutscene leaving as well. So you'll notice that as we're progressing through, I'm kind of just like slapping things around with Lumina. This is to help Lumina gain experience. Lumina, your swords gain experience based on hits, not defeats. We're gonna shrink this guy and step on him. And we didn't get it. I think I might be a little late. There are a few things that we do throughout the run that help with our body levels. We're gonna be focusing on raising body and Lumina because that's what helps with overall strength, and then Lumina because it's literally the only sword we use for damage.
I'm also just like, I'm at that fine spot where I'm now just like being a viewer and watching in most parts. I'm just like, oh, so many things going on. So many things going on. Oh yeah, I forgot too that when you're blocking, you literally are just blocking with your sword. Like you don't have a shield ever. You just put your sword up like, no, I'm good. I don't want any of that. But thank you.
Not today.
But thank you for the offer. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, missed that hit.
So something else I kind of want to point out too, while you're kind of going through this section, it looks like you're focusing a little bit. Another premise of this game that doesn't get quite explained while you're speedrunning through it is that what you're securing in a lot of these temples, shrines, caves, whatever you want to call them, because they're basically dungeons at the end of the day, is you're getting the 4 elements. And so the first one that Proto picked up is Earth, which gives him a move set that's available that when he stomps the ground, it kind of makes an earthquake. And that's really useful for breaking things, moving stuff around, doing quote-unquote or hashtag just Earth things. Over the course of the entire game, you're going to be securing all of those elements, and you'll be able to swap on and off which one you want to use at the time, and they'll each give you a different type of special move. So like when you later in the game get like the fire element, for example, that allows you to do fun things like shoot fire at people, because who doesn't like shooting fire? Unless you're in a fire cave, then maybe don't do that. That's counterproductive. So just something else I just kind of want to highlight for as we're progressing through the game and then trying to get to the end of the game.
So if anybody's familiar with the demo, you should be familiar with this level. This is the bowling part of the dungeon.
I always love that they have bowling balls.
I know, right?
I also just really enjoy that they literally was just like, what kind of skills do you want? Well, we could shrink enemies. That's cool. I like that. We can make them do things like hops. That's a little bit less offensive, but yeah, that seems cool. Oh, how about a bowling skill? Okay, who let you into the meeting? Why is bowling a skill? And as you can see on here, the bowling is actually kind of legit.
Yes. So it's kind of necessary for this part of the run because there is an actual bowling segment we're walking into right now. So you can bowl this perfectly and end up in that situation.
Oh, not
getting
the split.
Getting a strike is 100% RNG, and it has everything to do with the pins, quote unquote, moving the way that they do.
All right, so there's a question in chat specifically about the stats, and it just says, oh wait, I just lost it. There we go. Does stats like body, mind, and etc. affect your speed run? I know that the body is going to be... Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and let you answer.
So, body is for strength, is overall strength. Lumina Infusion level up those swords respectively. Mind levels up your defense. So the way mine works is the longer you play the game, the more defense you have. Hold on real quick, because we're about to do a little swag strat. We're gonna take a nap and kind of ignore the fact that it's trying to crush us, and we're just gonna pop right up. There's nothing useful about that. You bring your tiredness down a little bit, but it's just something you can do.
Something that I would like to ask, just as a refresher, and then just throw it out there for the chat too. What happens when your tiredness gets too high?
You slow down. You become sluggish. So there are a few things that there are added. Oh wow. Okay. You want that?
Got him.
You actually want that. That is super beneficial to the run. Strikes give you level ups across the board, and we got it.
Sure love that. A+.
So we didn't get the 500 Dran, but we got the strike. I'll take that trade.
I was just about to say, we accept that. That's fine. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so repeat the question again. What that just like completely threw me off.
We were talking about what tiredness does, and you said that it makes you sluggish, and I think you were about to explain what you mean by that.
Yes. Okay. So your literal speed slows down, but there are added effects that you get with low BP, high tired percentages, and poison. Your crit rate goes up by 50%.
Oh wow, that's a lot of crit.
You think so, but then when you're put in a position, which we will be, to actually use it, it may or may not play out the way we want it to. Because you think that with a higher chance at crit, you should be hitting that baby every single time, almost every single time. But there have been a few times where there's a part of the run where we put ourselves in a position to be poisoned for the crit chance. And you could go the whole fight without hitting a crit once.
So it's actually funny you say that, because one of my ongoing rants as someone who plays a lot of Metroidvanias, just in general, and a lot of RNG heavy games, I have like a whole stockpile rant explaining how RNG works, because there's so many cases where people will think, oh, well, my crit rate's 75%, why am I not critting? And the thing is, it's like, the problem is that it's a chance. So yeah, there's a 75% chance. That doesn't equate to guaranteed, it just equates to really high. So it is very feasible to see those types of things where you go in with like a 75% chance to crit, and you might go a whole fight and still not see a crit and go, I don't know why my life is in shambles. Oh, okay, so can we talk about the strat that we're using here? Because I think that this is something else you have to set up.
Yeah, so basically what I did was, instead of going around, I set myself up to, I messed that up. I set myself up to do a jump around. And then the second one, I knew I wasn't gonna make it, so I just damage boost myself through it.
Also love the Vambi. No, that's not the Vambi.
No, that's a Vambi.
Yeah, love the Vambi that's just flying, literally just with his arms. Just his arms.
So we're gonna do a small cut here. It's a little tricky, but one thing you can do to stop movement is, you can fall into lava, but that's not the strat I was going for. If you land on the surface, you can hold R1 and that will hold your position.
And I think, isn't R1 what you use to like set up to guard and or do a fusion?
Yes.
That makes sense. Chat can feel it in their bones. They're like, oh no, is Vanessa learning this? Maybe. I'm gonna learn a lot of speedruns after this weekend. And then forget to sleep. What is sleep?
What is sleep?
What is sleep? It's just a miserable pile of secrets, because no one knows what that is. Not a single person. Someone comes in, I had some good rest last night. That sounds fake.
Yeah. You think that you think you know what good rest is, but you don't.
No, you're true. That sounds fake. I don't think that's an accurate assessment, and I need you to stop lying in my face like this.
All right. This one, we're going to do a series of stored jumps. This doesn't give us any kind of boost or anything. It just allows us to jump at the last possible frame. We're going to pause buffer on the first frame, and you'll know it based off of the dust right there. We're going to press up, jumps on the last possible frame, and we get a somewhat impossible jump to make. Now, this next jump that we're going to set up for is a little bit harder to do just because there are subpixels that we have to watch out for. Obviously, you can't see subpixels, but there is a way to position yourself. And I don't know. Oh, we got it. Okay.
That's always the best, too, when you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to animate it. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah. This is definitely a YOLO trick for me. There's a science behind it, but I don't science it. It's just kind of like, you know what? We're going to get it or we're not. There are backup ways to get the jump if you miss it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go. That was just me doing a count to make sure I don't miss the window for jumping off the platform. So right now we're walking on literally nothing. Sorry, I lied, JK. There's a invisible platform there that we have to memorize.
And then they turn on the lights on you afterwards.
Yeah.
You're like, this is the path you just walked. It's like, man, that was helpful like literally 5 seconds ago.
So what you're supposed to do is that ghost that just appeared, you're supposed to use it. I think the ability is called osmosis, and you track the path. You track the path before you go. But since we know the path, you know, we just avoid having to use it altogether. I'm gonna shimmy my way between these blocks, avoiding spike traps on the far right.
Mm-hmm. Or not.
I prefer the nah. I love dodging 36 damage.
You know, and there's a couple of comments in chat too about this, and people are very, very not so fondly remembering about how much this dungeon could legitimately, playing it casually, it was not an easy dungeon because it had a lot of stuff on deck to just be like, nah, you're not playing this game no more, actually.
Oh, you want to win? No.
What do you think this is? Gamer hours? How dare you? How absolutely dare you?
So with the trials done, we're going to make our way to the four-eyed door, which is what we were doing. Each core strike opens up an eye that allows us access to this back room. So the story behind this is that this guy, the restaurant manager, opens up the basement because he wants treasure. But we're gonna find out that the treasure that he risked the entire town for was nothing more than a quote unquote ugly belt. So we get the ugly belt as a reward for saving the town, which that's kind of cool. I love wearing disgusting belts.
They're my favorite.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
We are going to take this back to the pawn shop and get it appraised.
And go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, go ahead. We're both trying to we're doing like the Canadian greetings and the Canadian politeness. You go. No, you go. No, you go. But no, please go ahead. You're gonna talk about your appraisal.
I was just gonna say we're gonna take a nap first to make sure we get there in time. So we're gonna sleep for 8 hours. I'm gonna check the time to make sure we're fishing for 11 o'clock essentially. And if it's 9, 10, 11, you know what? We'll take a nap and sleep till 1. So you can do a full 8 hours, or you can take a nap. Oh no, that's 12. Okay, we're good. Or sleep 3 hours. So I did 1 8-hour sleep and 1 3-hour nap. That puts us at 12. That gives us more than enough time to do the next part of the run. Wow, I still have all my stuff. Huh, neat. That gives us enough time to do this next part of the run. It's a very short segment where we get the water scroll, an ability, and then we go back in and we do the boss fight. And I actually want you to see this. I don't know if you've seen this trick yet, but we just got something called the L belt, the legendary belt. This is what allows us to do double jumps. It also sets us up for our next trick, which we will be doing a lot of. So we're going to get on this rope, and we're going to jump, double jump, pause, scroll cancel, and set ourselves up for an infinite jump. This allows us early access to the L-Vest, and then we're going to make our way over to the water scroll and grab that. And so to explain the double jump, essentially what we're doing is at the start or roughly around the first few frames of the second jump, we are canceling the jump and we're canceling the jump and bringing Musashi back to a neutral position. This allows us to constantly extend his jump to reach things that we couldn't normally do. Okay, I'm done.
No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. I'm just sitting here like watching stuff, but I'm also like playing along in chat and chatting with people. And yeah, I was also I'm upset that I didn't realize I could infinite jump if I just paused it, because it kind of resets your placement, so to speak.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't know that unless like someone, I feel like it's one of those things you wouldn't know unless someone like explained it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like you're just seeing it when it happens.
Yeah. Cause like I'll be real, like when I first saw the run, I was like, I didn't know these were things.
Well, no, and that's the moment I just had too, when you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go over to this thing real fast, and you're just pausing in the middle of a jump, and it immediately puts you into neutral state as though you're on the ground to jump again. And I'm just like, the amount of stuff I would have skipped on principle when I was younger, not even just because I want to speed run, but because the amount of stuff I would have just been like, I don't feel like dealing with this today, and just done it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in a position where we don't have enough money to take the nap needed, so we're just gonna kind of fall asleep here. Wait till midnight, and we're in.
Hey, I told y'all we're not gonna bring up my community stuff, okay? Don't bring. Okay, I have to explain something to you that just came up in chat. So one of my community members is like, but do you have to neutral? And this is a running joke, because in speedruns, I never neutral. And so I made a command for it specifically that said, chat, if you see it happening while I'm doing practice, I need y'all to just spam chat with ! neutral. And it's literally a command that comes up that says, oh my God, stand still, in all caps. And it has my emote of me pinching my nose bridge. And I'm like, you're right, I need to neutral. Because I will literally watch as the entire plan comes together the moment I neutral, and then the next time I try it, I don't neutral. Oh yeah, I forgot too that some of the people in town become vampies.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a mini game, there's a side quest where you have to save Tim, but we don't care about Tim. Tim is kind of a jerk.
There's a couple of jerks in this. Okay.
So the trick that I just did to get into this area, we essentially damage boosted onto the torches, and then we kind of pushed ourselves into the top part of the door to allow us entry. And we are going to do the exact same thing for this upcoming boss fight.
And now people talking about my neutrals and saying neutrals just waste frames. When you're playing Katana Zero, neutral saves lives.
I thought they were talking about fighting games for a sec. I was like, wait.
No.
You don't like that?
Oh, no. I'm also terrible about neutral in fighting games too, if I'm being brutally honest. But no, my run of Katana Zero, neutral literally saves lives, because if you go forward constantly, you'll find yourself in positions where like you can't deflect a bullet correctly, or you run into a guy who can actually like bounce you off their shields and stuff like that. Versus if you neutral in some of those runs, it gets you just out of range from shield bashers or people with a gun knocking you over, or it allows you to reset so that the incoming bullet, you can deflect it. So yeah, while I respect that neutral in some cases does just lose you frames, neutral in regards to Katana Zero, which is where it came up from, saves lives.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good time. Great time.
I've never played Katana Zero.
You gotta fix that.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I've never speed ran Katana Zero. Sorry,
Okay,
that's a
that
lie.
makes
That
more
was
sense.
a blatant lie.
And don't worry, Phantom, I'm also terrible and neutral in fighting games too. I'm very much a big bold sign of what is neutral. Oh yes, boss fight time though.
Yes, I knew it was one. I knew it was by one. I'm sorry. So all boss fights in this game are just specific manipulations. There is a way to get the core exposed on the first cycle of the first part of the fight. Let's see, did I get it? Okay, good. Is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna stay there. Okay, yeah, you do that. I've never been able to properly manipulate this guy on second phase because he literally just does whatever he wants. So yeah, like I said, it's all basically manipulation. He's gonna go away. That's fine. Get him back in the center. And for me, it's a little difficult for me to manipulate this boss fight. I think it's honestly, it's mostly just because I'm so out of practice for it.
I think something else I want to highlight too about boss fights and Brave vs. Musashi in particular. So if you're paying attention to the health bar, the thing with boss fights, and this is going to be true for all but I think maybe one boss fight. Yeah, I was saying, I didn't know if I wanted to count them or not, but yeah, any humanoid boss fights, I'll say this doesn't apply.
Yeah.
The way that it works is you have to go through kind of like their phases, and those phases you have to indicate damage and you have to go do things, you have to dodge stuff, but that has zero impact on their actual health bar. The phases are always there to kind of serve as a wall to getting access to what is essentially their core or their orb in some way, shape, or form, so you can get a hit on it, and then every boss in actuality takes about 3 to 4 hits to kill. I think actually most of them take 4.
Yes.
And it's a lot of extra stuff that you have to do and keep an eye out for, because otherwise you'll mess around and get killed trying to go through phases.
Yep. One of the fights, which is what we'll be doing after this one, for Frost Dragon.
Which has the best
has
boss
3
music.
Oh my
Continue.
god, yes. It has 3 phases. It has a lunge, it shoots out spikes, and then it has like this giant omega beam. We're essentially going to manipulate it to skip the beam.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's not because the beam freezes us and gives us damage. I mean, obviously we don't want to take the hit, but it's his slowest attack, and it is slow. So having him on repeat with those 2 kind of keep it going relatively fast. But before we do that, we're actually making our way to we're gonna visit Musashi. Not Kojiro. Sorry.
Oh,
Musashi's counterpart. Yeah.
there's a question in chat. How
Yes.
does the manipulation work with the way you position your Musashi? So I'm guessing what they're asking is, in what ways were you trying to manipulate in that boss fight that you were saying
So-
is something that's challenging?
So the second phase, there's a way to set yourself up in the corner to have him constantly bounce in the corner and just kind of spray him down with bubbles. Keeps him from bouncing all over the room like he just did.
I was good. I had to think about this comment that I read in chat because someone just walked in named Mizi Musashi, jokingly saying, "Is this me?" And somebody commented back and said, "I want to braid your eyebrows." And I had to take a moment to think about that because I was like, "What in the?" And I thought about it. I was like, "No, man's got bushy eyebrows. I get it." I just had to step back for a second. So I was like, "Who says that?" And I looked at the picture and I was like, "Oh wait, no, that's right. Man's got eyebrows that could rival like a whole head of hair." Oh. So go ahead.
What I just did was called slug skip. We basically take the hop ability, and instead of instead of canceling on the frame we land, we cancel on the frame after we land. Gives us a little extra height. We double jump, and it wedges us between the frames of the slug and the wall, and we just kind of like skate our way through. And this gives us access to the fire scroll. Sorry.
Nice. So there's another question that came up in chat asking they would love to hear how ice beam skip works. Now, do you want to explain that now, or do you want to explain it when you get to the boss?
We're gonna explain it when we get there. I'm gonna let you guys experience it. I'm gonna let you see it.
But instead, let's talk about this bammer in the red hair.
Yeah, this is Kojiro, our rival. And we're gonna completely bully him. Like, absolutely bully this man. So we want him to do 2 attacks. We want him to do that attack or the Firebird. We want him to do the Firebird, honestly, just because it's his fastest move, but this is okay. We don't want him to jump like that.
There you go.
There's Firebird. There you go. Firebird again. Another crit. Nice.
So while he's doing this fight, something else I want to explain for some context on Kojiro. He is the rival that is absolutely 100% a rival because he said so. Like, Musashi is not remotely worried about this kid. Literally every time he comes up, Itamoen is just looking at him and going, who is this man? Where are your parents? Like, who are you? But Kojiro insists that they are rivals and they must fight to the death. And Musashi's like, okay, that's cool. And usually just beats the sleeves off him and then goes about his day like he just did.
So we saved the princess, and wow, that was really fast. Didn't even get time to explain. So what we did was use the frames of the princess's butt to push us out of the slug. Because look at that, look at that badonk. Look at that thing.
And I don't know if the volume's loud enough that you can hear, I want to say the overwhelming majority of this game is actually voice acted.
Yes, it is. Which really, it really sucks that we can't listen to the voice acting as we go, because the voice acting is absolutely phenomenal. And then Samurai Legend Musashi happened, and I don't know what they did. It literally feels like they had a $500 budget and walked outside and hired the first 10 people they could find. That's the best way to put it. Like, phenomenal soundtrack, but absolutely beautiful. But the soundtrack, the voice acting is atrocious.
Oof. Big oofs in chat.
It sounds amazing with the Japanese VAs though.
Oh no. People are abusing the things.
Yeah.
And my community will tell you that here at the Wine Cellar, we always endorse a good butt strat. Butt strat to get through obstacles, approved. Yes.
You know what? I like that one. Beast of Prey, use the butt, save the frames.
Yes! Yes! I'm gonna make sure that goes to rotation immediately, if not sooner. Please hold. I might be quiet for a second. Also, just love the Pikachu like emote on the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it's a kind of funny joke because I say that because you can use that kind of strat in so many games just in general. Like for no-hit runs of Bloodborne in particular, 100% the majority of it is just butt strats because all those enemies and bosses are like so hulkingly large that you can just eat their ankles and stand behind them, and they just like they swing wildly at air. It's great. Absolutely wonderful.
I'm trying to hit my opponent, but I'm dummy thick.
Basically speaking. Oh my god. The accuracy on it though, it hurts. It's actually painful. Oh gosh. I forgot about the pea shooter dudes. They were just annoying. They were just annoying. Another thing
I could have... No, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, another thing I think that's interesting about some of the fusion moves is that some of them you wouldn't expect to get from certain enemies. So like you'll get a move that you're like, oh, this is something I can use to set things on fire. And you look at it and it's like, this person had nothing to do with fire. Why did...
Yeah.
What? What is happening?
So to kind of explain what took place in the last 2 minutes-ish, we saved the 3 mercenaries. And the reason why we did that is because that they have to tell us the direction to take to go through Meandering Forest. It's kind of like a flag placed by the game. So even if you knew the route, you would not be able to navigate to get the Frost Palace.
Yeah, it's one of those required, you should probably play this game type of thing.
Yes, yes.
You have to play the game to know where to go.
I did not jump in the Thorny Vines. I used the ability called Hop, and that allowed me to bounce over them, or bounce on top of them, we'll say that. But since you brought that up, we will be literally jumping over the vines on our way back. So, this is the first time we come into contact with a run killer. There is a jump that we do right as soon as we start that can soft lock the game. What you're supposed to do is you grab the legendary goggles to grab the legendary shoes that are found in this castle that allows you to walk up slick surfaces. But, you know, we're trying to go fast, so we don't grab them. The reason why it's a soft lock is because you essentially cannot walk up the path that's provided in this little ditch that we are jumping over right now. It's a lot easier going this way than it is going the other way around. We're gonna use a backup strat and use the green door. For me, it's kind of a play it by ear situation. If I'm feeling comfortable, I'll do it. If I'm not, then I will generally avoid it. It's definitely not a marathon-friendly trick.
The marathon. I want to do fun stuff.
Yeah,
Well, just the
agree,
same.
I don't think it would be fun to have to
Start
redo
over
where we at,
entirely.
like an hour, and yeah. That's the other thing about this game. When you die, you start back from the last time you saved, and the last time the game saved was after we beat Steam Night.
Oh no,
Yep.
that's too much. I don't like that. I would dislike all of that. Ugh.
So if you're like me, playing this for the first time, replaying this, and you forget that this game doesn't have an autosave feature, and you die after, you know, a 6-hour casual play.
Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's actually brutal.
And
is
he
this
did
man
not. Wow,
doing?
he didn't die? He didn't
I
die.
was like, what is this man doing?
So counter normally is your go-to for high damage, but he decided it wasn't enough. So, yeah.
That was rude. I was gonna say that man just insisted on holding up traffic.
Yeah. You kind of want to hold on to as much health as possible, because we're going to be doing some damage abuse during the boss fight. This roundabout.
I remember watching
sorry.
you practice this. No, that's all I was saying.
Yes. Okay. This roundabout loses about, if I had to guess, about 20 seconds. But in this case, I'd rather lose 20 seconds than, you know, the entire run.
Right.
We're going to infinite jump this way. Oh, one thing to note about your infinite jumps, you gain more height jumping off of poles, trees, and walls than you do off of the bare ground. It's actually impossible to gain height from a grounded position. This is where we're gonna get some speed. This is the ability dive kick, and we're just gonna start zooming.
I love that the dive kicks are also done by like what looks like. I'm pretty sure there's a way to describe it because I was about to say a Tatsunuki, but that's not right. God, I can see it.
I know what you're talking about. But I can't think of the name. I cannot think of the name.
And it's a play on that word because they're wolves that are like in gi kicking you.
Yeah.
And I can't think of it.
I keep wanting to call it Haya Wolf, but that's not what it is. But it's a play off of Tanuki.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah, I can't think of it. And Colonel Cap, this game has not just great enemy design. Way back in an ancient time when you got actual instruction manuals or you got strategy guides that had like whole illustrations in it, the art for this game was probably one of my favorites because it was a very, very distinct, almost Squaresoft central art style. And the way that they handled color and shading, it was really simplistic, but it was so effective. And it was so cool seeing the artwork. Like the cover art for Musashi actually has him holding Lumina behind him and his main sword in front of him, and it's super cool. It's super cool. And even like the way the princess looks is good and everything else. What'd you say thank you for?
Oh, because I got hit.
Oh, I was like, oh, thank you for that damage. I'll be boosting now. Goodbye.
So, as you can see, we're getting low on BP, which is kind of normal for this part of the run. There's two things that we're kind of on the lookout for. We're going to go into what's called the Penguin Room, and we could get lucky and have them drop BP, or we can go for the backup strat and pick up a Bencho field that we end up passing through. It's not really that much of a time loss if we have to do the backup strat. It's just, you know, if we can avoid it, we will. Oh, Penguin did exactly what I wanted it to. Yeah. And we're just gonna light all these guys on fire.
I just love forever that you can pick up certain enemies and stuff like they're objects. Absolutely great.
Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Sometimes these guys don't want to cooperate. But you end up, oh, nice, that's a good chunk. You end up being put in a situation where you have to chase them down. But these guys, they were actually pretty good.
I would say they're pretty cooperative.
Yeah.
And they're getting some BP back, so you're in good shape now.
80 is exactly what we need to be around. Well, 60, so we can do a few dive kicks. Make our way this way.
Oh, dreams. Yeah, physical strategy guides were dope.
So this is the last trick of the game. So because we don't have the legendary shoes, we can't just walk up the stairs like normal. So we're gonna do something called balcony jump. There's two methods to do it. I do it the harder way, and I call it the harder way. Well, it's called the harder way because it's two jumps instead of one. But the thing is that the easier way, the jump is a lot more precise. So we're gonna store a jump here. There's one, there's two, and good.
So
And the reason why, no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, again, adding context, because I like adding context for it in the case of when I can do it. The whole premise of this entire castle is that you're supposed to do everything on that bottom floor to get that door that's in front of you to open up first, and then casually walk up the stairs. And this castle alone could take you probably a smooth 45 minutes just trying to go through it casually.
Just navigating it, yes. Lost my train of thought.
I was like, we're both too excited to talk about stuff, and it's like,
I enjoy it. I love hearing and talking with other people that have such a fondness for this game.
Oh yeah, I love this game. I could talk about little quirks and stuff about it all day long that are just completely irrelevant to the run. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna bring that up.
So this is where we get into Frost Dragon. And this is the part where I mentioned that we needed to hold on to, what am I doing? We needed to hold on to as much health as possible because we're going to be doing damage boosts. We grabbed the 3 gels because kind of like a safety net for the run up until this point, but in reality, it's honestly for this fight right here. Because of the amount of health we lose for the damage boost. And so now we summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, but there's only one of them, so we can't summon the ultimate dragon. And plus we don't have the right cards to fuse and do all the other stuff, so we gotta deal with what we got.
An entire mess of things.
Also,
I
banger
repeat
alert.
again. I will say, bangers only for this track. It's so good. I'm gonna be quiet specifically for that. Oh, okay, there's one thing I'm not gonna be quiet about. It's not just the fact that the track is a banger, even the room preceding it where it has like the light version of it is so strong. It is just, oh my God, this track is so good. And I actually personally really like this fight. I think this is my favorite fight in the game, but I might be biased because the banger does help.
And there is the damage boost strat. So here's where we, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and heal. Here's where we manipulate. He's gonna lunge, we're gonna throw out our fire. And so to get him back into the lunge, we're going to block 2 ice throws. We're gonna walk over here, he's gonna do the lunge again. And now his core is exposed. And it's literally a wash, rinse, repeat. So this corner is the perfect position to line yourself up to get to the peak of his lunge for him to take the most damage from the fire ability. Block 2, walk over. This last one is going to be a little bit tricky because every time you hit his core, he increases in speed. So we're going to change the strat up just slightly. I'm going to see if I can pull it off.
I believe.
Okay, I think we got the hits. 1, 2. We got it, cool. And hit.
Get that man out of here.
So, I can't tell you why it works the way it does, but because we physically blocked the ice shards that he threw, it puts him in a loop. So if we just dodged every single ice shard, he will go into his 3rd phase of throwing out the beam. But since we blocked 2 and moved to the side, he just decides to do the lunge again.
Just confuse the boss.
I honestly could not give you a more in-depth scientific approach to it. That's just how it's done. So now we've got this little fast movement, and we're literally gonna be doing this for as long as possible. The idea here is to use as much BP as possible to maximize our movement.
And what do we have right now for scrolls? You have earth, fire,
So
and
we're at the
water?
point of the game where the town is being overly taxed, and this is the setup for Steamwood 2. But like Steamwood 1, we're gonna skip that because nobody likes Steamwood.
I forgot this is the point in the game too, where like if you were actually having to talk to everyone, like everyone across town is like super depressed. It's super sad.
So I picked up something called a big straw. That's the money that we're gonna need for the rest of the run. And this is where we get all of our in-game material. in-game heals. We pick up, let's see, I want to sell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4 pieces of cheese. We're lactose intolerant, but I don't care.
I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, and you're not gonna catch me not eating cheese. The answer is no. Like, give me the lactate, give me whatever pills and stuff I gotta take. It's off the table. I'm not bypassing cheese. The answer is no.
So I see a lot of people mentioning the Alpha 3 in the back. That's actually a cab that I built from scratch. And that is a genuine Alpha 3 arcade board. And, I thought I was gonna make it. Okay, cool.
I was in the middle of a yawn. I am in desperate need for another dose of caffeine. But
Yes.
things that I've learned about Proto over the last couple of weeks, not only is that an official board, but Proto, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, kind of collect those.
I do. And it's the most expensive thing I've ever done. Don't do it. Save yourself, save your money. I have a problem. I need to seek help.
I can't really judge on that because I have the ongoing issue of buying things that I don't have space for. So I was introduced to Bizetsune in Monster Hunter Rise, and instantaneously I put the statue on my wish list. Don't ask me where I'm gonna put it. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. You have it.
Right, I literally have no idea where it's gonna go, but I know I want it. That's what I do now. And it's the same thing with plushies. It's the same thing with like art, the whole thing. Oh, but someone has a question about that. They said, how is the battery on that CPS2?
The battery's gone. For those of you that don't know, CPS2 batteries explode. And I don't mean that figuratively. I don't mean that a little bit. I mean they literally explode. So what you want to do is remove the battery and get something called an Infinikey. This is I always mix up encrypted and decrypted, but it decrypts the encryption that the battery stores, allowing the game to be played.
That's, I think terrifying is the word I want.
It
like
is.
Explosive things.
That was one of the first things I read when I was looking into this stuff. Yeah, I want to get a CPS2 board. And then the first thing that comes up on the Google search, these explode. Like, okay, that's cool.
According to somebody, the same person that asked in chat, they also can leak and cause corrosion.
Yes.
Whole lot of L's being issued there. Oh yeah, and now like I think everyone is required to have at least one thing that they know that they shouldn't get into, but they're absolutely sucked in. Someone else was talking about they keep buying new yarn for crochet and knit projects, and it's like, how's your last project going? Which one? As you're walking in and you're just dumping a bag of like 50 new colors, and you're like, I might use them soon. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll use them soon.
You know what? So that kind of plays into my other hobby. I build fight sticks. I actually have some on the side to kind of show off when I get done. But I have pieces of fight sticks everywhere. Buttons, washers, like you name it, it's there. And my wife absolutely hates it. She's like, why do you have so much crap? I was like, because I don't know when I'm gonna build another one. I need these things.
No, I don't think you understand. I just need this. I just need this. What do you need it for?
Let me have this.
Feelings, okay? I just have reasons. I can't explain them. I just need them. Jeez. And it's like, but now that I have a newer room and I have a bigger room, I can actually put all of my collectible stuff in my Steam room. So it's made the revamp of the wine cellar really nice, because now I have like really nice glass cases, and I can pull out like my Sonic Mania figures, or I can pull out like,
I have that. It's amazing.
Oh my god! I just
and then it does a little Sega thing when you press the button.
Yes. Like I've got my plushies. I'm looking at it all now. Plushies, Sonic figures, my collectible edition of Hollow Knight, my collector's edition of Freedom Planet.
Real quick, I just kind of casually did a trick. It's called Bramble Skip. Basically, instead of using the hop ability to jump over those vines that we did at the very beginning, we just time a well-placed double jump and go over them, allowing us to keep the dive kick for a little bit longer in the run.
Nice. And we're gonna need that because it's giving you that movement.
Yes, movement is important.
I also have a dedicated space for Mass Effect, and I have a dedicated space for Sailor Jupiter.
Nice. Oh yeah, speaking of Sailor Moon, did you do you know about the beat 'em up, Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon? We talked about that.
Yes, you found that on my thread because I was like, so we just not gonna talk about how there's a Streets of Rage style Sailor Moon? Excuse me? No one brought this to my attention. I'm fighting everybody. I can't believe this. But yeah, I collect too much stuff. I fully expect that on the day that we get a house, there will absolutely be a third case with more crap in it, and my body is ready to just waste money. Let's go. And I even admit it's wasting money, but I want the stuff. It brings me joy, so I'm bringing it.
So I might be in a position where I don't have enough money to finish the sleep cycle, which is fine. What's going to end up happening is we're going to go to our room and sleep the rest of the time needed, which doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot.
I think you have exactly enough if you got...
Yep. I have exactly enough for that one more. So we only have to sleep one more time, which is okay.
Mocha, you can't just make me learn every speed run. I gotta eat at some point. I'm reading chat alongside it. Oh, Kate knows about it. That was a Rail left. Not Rail. Rail knows. Kate knows. Apparently everyone knew about this game except me. I'm sleeping. I'm the worst Sailor Moon fan. It's me.
Okay. So the point of the sleep schedule, we were supposed to sleep until Thursday morning, like to around 2:15 a.m., 2 a.m., 2:15 a.m. That sets us up to come around for the Sky Scroll the following day. So we're gonna lose a little bit of time. Well, we might not, depending on how good or bad Ant Queen goes. Because you do a fair amount of sleeping during the boss fight. So I might be able, yeah, it's gonna be the funniest thing you've ever seen. There's gonna be some in-between times where we're just gonna literally fall asleep. We're just gonna drop right where we are and fall asleep for a good chunk of time. Use wind to get rid of the poison. And this is what we're doing right now. It's literally just optimal movement.
Just get a little bit of extra speed, because why not?
Yeah.
Although you did have to kick that one off. I seen that.
I didn't have to. He was just there.
I was like, you was in the line of fire, and I feel bad, but I don't.
But yeah, that board that we were talking about, $1,200 for that Sailor Moon board. If you haven't played it, it's called Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon. It's a Streets of Rage-esque beat 'em up. It's also 4-player, so you can get your friends in. Yeah, it's very fun.
This is the type of dangerous stuff I don't need access to. The amount of nonsense that would be in my stream room, and my poor boyfriend would just look at me.
I would love to see you play that.
I love Streets of Rage, so that's like right up my alley. That's the rub. Like when Streets of Rage 4 got announced, I was like, yeah, gonna probably buy that for my PS4 and my PC, and I did. Played that a little bit with Ash Said Hi, and it was great, absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to the Ninja Turtles game that's coming out. I think it's
Splinter got announced.
Yeah.
Yes. He has a Tatsumaki too.
Yeah. Gonna have to get that into rotation immediately, if not sooner. Oh wait, we have a question about that board actually. Which version of the board is it, Japanese or English? Follow-up question to that, Magus. Are you talking about the Alpha 3
I think he's talking about the CPS2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a USA board that I have.
Okay. I'm taking that word, Hannafin. Unobtainium prices. I'm writing that down right now. This has a lot of unobtainium to it. What's that? It's unobtainium. You're still playing Donnie in that? I mean, I guess, okay. It's gonna be the 3 soldiers in the room. I read that.
Right now, we're just kind of making our way through, avoiding the ants. You can't kill these ants by just hitting them with your sword. They actually have armor. You can take the ability of the blue ants, which is it's like an acid bomb. I could have went over that. And that kills them. I don't know the experience that you get off of those. I would imagine it'd be relatively high. But I can't remember if it goes towards your body experience. I'm not sure how. I'm still unclear on how body works as far as like leveling up. But it's faster to just kind of work your way around them.
I love that you use the wind move to drill a hole into the earth.
Yeah, like you would think. I don't know, Earth Scroll.
Right, Earth Scroll to shatter something, or like. I could even rationalize like the water one to make it muddy and then it's like softer to travel through or dig or something. No, you're just gonna turn into a top, and that's how you solve that.
So what I did there was that's when we intentionally take the poison damage. This is where we want to set ourselves up for that extra boost in crits. We want to utilize that as much as possible for Queen Act. Yes, there is a 100% run of this. All chests, all benchos, all toys.
That's a mighty run.
I think P-Man is still here. He's actually a runner of the 100%. I can't remember what the time is on that.
I would assume it has to be at least between the 2 to 3 hour barrier because.
Oh, it's longer than that.
Okay, so I was being generous. Okay, I was gonna say because like doing it casually, if you wanted to 100% the game, you're gonna be clocked in for at least a good 30 hours. Because like there's a lot of running around and stuff to do. No, maybe not 30. I'll say 20. Because yeah, there's a lot of running around to do. There's a lot of things that you have to wait to open it into later segments of the game. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of things that you have to set up one thing to do another thing. It's not a smooth, so to speak, 100% run.
You want a blindfolded segment? Do y'all want me to blindfold Topo?
Blindfold Topo?
Yeah.
I mean, we can. I'm into it. Hang on. Is there a mod? Mods! Your host is speaking. Can we get a poll for chat? Do we do blindfold Topo? Yay or nay? Is that the play? Is that the play? Now I'm treating it like it is my channel. Just scream. Mods! The amount of times I scream that, and I'm just like, can you add this to my list of stuff to do? Because I'm gonna forget. And then they give it to me, and then I still forget. I'm actually terrible. Alright, everybody, the poll segment is up. So, you can poll and answer right now. Are we gonna do a blindfolded Topo segment? For those of you who are unaware, Topo is one of the later boss fights in the game, so we have a little bit of time before we get to her. But the way that her boss fight works is it's kind of like a DDR style fight. So she is gonna give you a dance sequence, and then you have to memorize it and then copy it back. And so what Proto is offering is that he can do that segment without even looking at her. I don't need your stuff. I don't need to know where you went. Bye, girl. Bye.
I don't know why we're bothering with the poll.
I was saying, I love when the poll comes out and it's just like, we're just gonna watch all these. We had that poll happen yesterday for Cypher's run, saying, are we doing the Vegas Bridge? It just completely demolished it. Yes, it's like, sometimes I don't think we have to ask the question, but we're gonna play it fair, and so we're asking the question. In what world is the answer to do we do a blindfold? No. I mean, you're not wrong.
Hey, maybe you don't want to risk the run. Maybe you want to see what a good run looks like. You know, I feel like that's a reasonable request.
I am impressed that nobody is listening to this commentary from my community and they haven't hit with the smooth twisted finish. It's like, what are y'all? That's the thing you said? Cute. That's cute. Yeah, so forgot about these stage little Minecrafty areas where you're like, you have to go through and what you're dodging there is like furiously digging ants.
Yes.
That's the part that I love, is that it's just they're ants and they're furiously digging.
All right, so we're going into Queen Ant, and it works the same way as all of the boss fights. We have to damage her. We have to put enough damage on her head to access her core. And this is where all of the leveling up and where the Lumina levels and the body levels come into play, because she is a pain. No crit. And we're definitely going to blah, 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 blah. We're going to utilize the enemies that she spawns to help gain Lumina levels while we're doing the fight. So we're sleeping to pass through time because we want to get it as close to Sky Day as possible.
I also love, just want to take a moment to highlight that even while you're poisoned, your sleep and the poison are trying to work to negate each other. So you'll take poison damage, but then your sleep will proc and you get HP regen.
So it's easier to, I
was say, hold on now, she's interrupting naps. I seen that.
Yeah. So it's easier to just shake yourself out of it than go through the 3 cycles of her going for the grab. There we go. Nice crit. Lumina up. You'll love to see it. And so what I'm doing here is I'm putting myself right between the frames of her body. So we're tricking it into thinking that we're on that side of the body when we're not. Nice crit. And so the break for that is you literally rock your analog stick back and forth.
I'm gonna say, she's getting kind of touchy.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
Typically don't mind hugs from strangers, but you know, I don't think I can.
I would say that's a different kind of hugs that we're just not. No, I don't want your hugs, but thank you.
Oh. Let me heal. Ooh.
Oh, that's kind of that was a little dangerous there.
Pretty sure I made P-Man nervous there. I am notorious for doing that. Like healing at the last minute.
Yeah, I can't judge because I also am very notorious about that. Like extremely notorious. And across multiple games too. Like I used to do competitive Left 4 Dead 2, and it was like an unspoken rule for people who played with me. They knew. For people who didn't, they would get terrified. I don't heal unless I'm on black and white. Like if it's not next time I die, I'm down for good. I'm not healing. The answer is no. And people are just like, isn't that risky? I mean, I guess. That's like the whole attitude I have about it. Like, I guess it's whatever.
Hey, this was actually a decent Queen Ant. Very decent Queen Ant.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I
like it?
forgot this boss existed.
Yeah, most people do.
I forgot.
It's really not a memorable boss.
I think it's just because it's a lot of back and forth, and it's like, yeah, it's a thing. And I know for a casual playthrough, a lot of people are going to go out of the way to avoid the poison, as opposed to being like, nah, I want the bonus crit. Of course, they probably don't know that.
Yeah. And I don't even know. I think we have to science that because it's not explained anywhere.
That sounds about right, too. That sounds about right. So I believe you're on the second to last or last chapter of the game at this point, right?
This is chapter 6. This is in-game stuff.
Okay.
This is the part of the game where quite literally everything can one or two shot you. But we got the strike, so that definitely helps. We won't be getting one-shotted. But that doesn't make this next area any less dangerous. So, like I said earlier, we kind of messed up on the sleeping. At this point in time, it should probably be about 4 a.m. on Sky Day. But we're just shy of midnight on Thursday night. So we're going to lose a little bit of time. We're going to do this next trick, which is called Monster Jump. Where it's literally climbing up a wall and doing multiple consecutive infinite jumps. 3, 4, 5, 6. This trick is notorious for hand cramps.
And you're just trying to jump up on a vertical just to get height for this platform that you're getting to.
Yes, typically what you would do is you would use the Earth Scroll to break that barrier. You know what? We're going to take it. I'm interested in this.
The Minku?
Yes.
Yeah! Yeah! Minku!
So we're gonna have to sleep until 7 a.m. Like I said, it's a little bit of a time loss, but yeah, it is what it is.
Also, for chat purposes, anyone who knows where I can secure a Minku plushie, send that information my direction. There's a couple plushies out there that I'm not going to rest till I get them.
I've been to funnily enough, I've been to a few like random malls that have like those Asian stores, and I've seen Minkus.
I want one. It belongs to me. Like, I just... Plushies and figures. I learned late in life that that's my vice. Plushies and figures. Man, it really is the final chapter. I'm kind of sad. Kind of sad.
Oh, don't worry. It's the final chapter, but there is still so much left.
That's true. That's very true. Because the final chapter is a chunky one. It's a little bit of a chunky one.
Oh, just barely made that jump.
Oof. So to kind of give some people some more context, as we're going through the story of the game, what you're seeing happening is you've done a lot of work. A lot of this is to help save the all-you-can-eat kingdom from the Thirst Quencher Empire. And a lot of the boss fights that's in this chapter is going to circulate around the Thirst Quencher Empire proper. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for people who don't know. If you do know, don't spoil it for chat. But there is a really big plot twist that goes down that kind of explains how we got to the story the way that we did.
Yeah.
It explains a lot of like how things got to where they were and why they're acting the way that they are. But the majority of this chapter is going to be revolving a lot around doing lots of puzzles, doing a lot of... I kind of deem them as mini boss fights for Topo and Nim. Because they're fights, but they're fights in quotations.
Oh no. Out of all the fights that you should be careful of, between the three, it's Ben. Ben hits like a truck.
Yeah, that's true.
His bombs deal 99 damage, and his spear swings do 122. It is easy, super easy, to mess that fight up and just eat damage for no reason.
Yeah, that's very true. And see, in my mind, I consider them more like mini boss fights because they don't give you anything that like boosts up Lumina or doesn't do anything to give you another element. They are quite literally the three jerks that are in the way from completing the game.
Yes.
Now, granted, we've been going through a lot of the cutscenes really quickly. You've actually already seen all 3 of these bosses at least once. You've actually spoke to 2 of them a couple of times at this point. And I don't quite remember why the Thirst Quencher Empire, well no, actually yes I do, and I can't say why. There's a reason why the Thirst Quencher Empire is acting the way it is towards the all-you-can-eat one. And the all-you-can-eat one, it literally is just terrible because they're like the softest and most just chill, hanging out. We just want to like farm our crops and milk our cows type of people. So there's a huge plot twist. Definitely is going to make a lot more sense when we get time to explain it some. But yeah, this final chapter does get chunky because you're pretty much storming the castle. You're pretty much storming the castle.
One thing I will say that I don't like about this game is that you get the Sky Scroll and the game is literally like, hey, you just got this really cool ability. Let's put you through death traps to have you figure out how to lose it or how to use it. If you mess up, hey, well, you take double damage because you hit the side of the fence for a certain amount of damage. Then you fall into electrified water, which is going to deal more damage.
An example of a tutorial that's not that great, actually.
Yes.
Not that great. And for everyone who's been enjoying the commentary once again, first and foremost, don't forget that you can sub and use your bits to help support more Hotfix content like this. But specifically, if you've been liking my commentary, do I have commentary for you later today about bad training areas. And it's gonna get a little spicy, I'm just letting you know that now. Anyone from my community knows what we're signing up for, and they're just probably all sitting there with the quiet Knuckles oh no going off in their head. Because it's gonna get spicy. It's gonna get spicy.
All right, we're coming into the bin fight. We're gonna make an attempt to do a 1 cycle on him. All right,
Yeah,
we got
big,
one hit.
heavy.
We'll take it. One thing I forgot to mention, that Luminous Wings have iframes, so I'm going to completely miss taking damage from that bomb.
Not doing the circular swing.
Ooh, nice crit. Oh! We're gonna heal.
Oof! I just saw it on my side. Yeah, that was a mighty hit.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you were talking about too, is these are the final steps before the end of the game, but yeah, he does hit like a truck. I completely forgot about that.
There we go. And that's been perfectly possible to 1 cycle him, just a little bit tricky.
I was gonna say, it's probably a lot of precision, a little bit in there, or just very, very deliberate hits.
Yeah, so you want to kind of hit him maybe about 4 or 5 times while he's in the air. Then you want to hit him with those counters, which I missed one, which is kind of what extended the fight just a little bit more than normal. So let me ask you this. When you played this for the first time, did you figure out how to get around on your own, or did you know that the calendar...
Oh no, I 100%, like, I was using a strat guide for this section. I have no tea, no shade. I have no shame. I love strategy guides, collecting them, and I also write strategy guides. I will be the first person to tell you that if you didn't know how to do this, it's okay to just use a guide.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing that tells you how to navigate this. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
there's nothing that even tells you to use the calendar to figure out where you need to go.
Exactly. Like, I was able to bypass that because I was using a guide, and the guide is what brought it up, and I was like, why in the world? It's not just the part that you would not know, it's also the part where you have to ask yourself, why would I know to do that?
Yes.
Why would I know to do that?
We'll switch to fire spell. So we're gonna do something here that's gonna play out 1 or 2 ways. We're gonna get the trick and not take damage, or we're going to get the trick and take damage. We'll essentially be eating 86. And 82. And I actually missed the trick. So there's a third option. It's not a huge deal. it just allows us on top of the platform. I'm gonna go ahead and heal. It allows us on top of the platform. It saves like a few seconds.
And I think a couple people in chat talking about this same area too. Oh wait, no, I was muted for a second. That was me being muted and not realizing it. No, that's fine. I'm reading along in chat too, and I think that's another thing that people forget about why guys would have came out for this specifically. I'll have to time check this, but I want to say Breakfast Musashi came out in 1998.
Yes.
So for a lot of us that were playing it when we were kids, we're not talking about being like kids as in, oh, we're getting ready out of high school and stuff. I played this and I was 13 years old. And I am willing to wager that puts me, no, I'm sorry, I was 12 years old. I'm willing to wager that puts me at the high end of people in chat who are playing this. Because there's someone who mentioned how, yeah, I used the guide because I was 7. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks. That 100% tracks. Like, 8 years old trying to figure this stuff out? Nah.
One thing I want to note, we just did what's called wind jump. And it's kind of ridiculous because you have to do that. That is a frame perfect jump on a casual level. So we're going into our Ed fight, and he's going to throw out this giant Kamehameha beam, and we're just going to say nope and go into the corner and not get hit. Like this.
That feel when you have superpowers and you just whiff. Embarrassing. Crafty, if you were born in 92, then that means you should have been 6 for this. I'm confused. Yeah, there's a couple people saying it too. Fam, I was 3 to 4, playing around 2000. I was 8. Oh God, dial up, please. We don't need to go that far down a nostalgia trip. I'm not trying to age out in the middle of GDQ. Now time out. I already have to do this fight. Like, hold on, time. We don't need to get that deep in. Next, you're gonna be telling me your AOL usernames.
Oh, don't, please.
No. Oh no, now we went to the library to print out walkthroughs. Oh, I felt that. Please continue. I felt that.
So this is the position that he's putting himself in right there is not ideal. What we're doing right now is setting ourselves up to abuse the iframes of the luminous wing, so that when those flames come through, we actually don't take damage. But what's happening is I'm not positioning myself up perfectly. There we go. And he ends up back in that corner, which it kind of was okay, just because every time he went into the corner that we didn't want him in, it was a crit. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a little time out here and save. No, don't do that. Yes, I would love to resume play. Thank you. So here we are. Everything in this part of the run can and will kill you. Grenades hit for 86, shots hit for like 60 something. We're taking the grenade ability because those are the highest damaging things in the game. There are these flame walkers that do 150 damage, and you just, if you can get rid of them, get rid of them. Don't play around. Don't try to avoid it. Don't walk around it. Just kill it. Kill it as soon as you see it. Also, banger alert.
It is actual pain-inducing every time we say banger alert, because to get this OST, it's like a struggle. Because I can find the majority of it online, so like I can find it on YouTube, but even then I'm relying on other people to secure it. Mm-hmm. And so you'll get like different audio qualities, different audio bit rates. You'll get stuff that's like completely named incorrectly, or conversely, you'll have something that's like missing a whole track. Also, I can't remember what track this is. Oh yeah, all the time. Is this the? No, this isn't the. No, it is the track I'm thinking of because you're on the airship.
Yes.
Yo, this track goes so hard. Like, this was my my go-to justification for when it comes to RPGs. You can listen to a song and know immediately when you're in the airship level, and you cannot change my mind. And this song, the Airship for Freedom Planet, some of the airship stuff in like Final Fantasies, every time, just banger central. Every time. Yeah, this track goes hard.
Okay, doing good. Not taking any unnecessary hits. I'm trying my best here to not take any unnecessary risks either. Like if I can get rid of something, I'll just, like I said, I'll just do it. Get as much BP as we can on the way.
Also, for everybody in chat, we got some predictions going. So make sure you get those channel points. Oh, well, it's something I feel, Proto, that you shouldn't be worried about, because we just want to predict whether or not you're going to get blindfolded Toko on the first try. That's all. Ain't no thing.
Oh yeah, you know, it is what it is, you know?
Ain't no thing. So go ahead and get that stuff going. I just want to make sure everybody knew that. This way you could go in and get you some coins. Unless you mess up and predict wrong, at which point you will lose your dollars.
Ooh, right on the tail. Oh, okay, we're good.
Oh, no. You had a close call there? Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's catching up for me, and I see it. I see it. Yeah. Using that sky sometimes is like even its own type of risky. Also, have people... Is Toko hard? You're gonna see.
We're not gonna ruin it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
You just gotta throw down dollars. Just gotta throw down dollars. But yeah, and for those of you who are wondering why the prediction is opening up, we are coming up on her relatively soon. I think it's probably another couple of screens, and then we're gonna be at that fight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
gonna try a little strat here. Let's see if we can get it. Nope, we missed.
Oh, no.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh no! I didn't do it fast enough. What? Oh, I know what that sound was. I was like, what did I just do? I have to.
Get out the way, please, sir. Thank you.
I have to unfortunately inform my boyfriend that he's logged in as well. Because he totally just got achieved. And it's over.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just funny because he never notices it until I go out and I'd say, hey, you know you're on my name, right? And he looks at it, he's like, God! And I'm like, yeah, you're on my name. I know because you're getting achievements under my name, so it's probably on my computer. And I love that Mocha caught on. He said that Proto's cheesing it.
Yeah.
Proto's cheesing
so this
it.
This is why we have cheese.
Yes.
The sole reason why we carry cheese. I'm gonna take that 50.
Just to be safe.
Yeah. So that last room was a trip up. If that soldier hits you, it's just enough time for the flame walker, to throw a flame out and hit you for a 150. And we are here at the blindfold. So yes. I don't have a blindfold on me, so I'm just gonna turn around and listen.
Okay, that works. I was gonna say, now how are you gonna say I can do it blindfolded and then not have a blindfold?
I got it.
Oh my lord. I'm gonna send you a blindfold. That's what we're gonna do. We got you covered for next time.
I already forgot.
Oh no, not this! I believe in you. I believe in you. Do I need to slide you hints under the table?
Sounds like we did good.
Yeah, we're done with one phase. We're done with one phase. I'm gonna be quiet.
I fucked up. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I messed up.
Was that? It's okay. It's okay. Oh no!
No, I messed up. I was thinking of the third phase.
Oh no!
Hold on. I got it.
A lot of people are poor at this moment.
I'm sorry. I really tried. I promise you, I really tried.
Yeah, it's like that though. So I am going to, after this one, explain it for everybody. I think that's the last one. Okay, so the way
That's the last one.
Yeah, so the way that fight works is you have to do DDR with Topo, and you have to match what she does. So she'll show you the full sequence, and then you have to copy it. And fun fact about this one is that this is a static pattern. So there's 3 phases to the fight, and if you have the patterns memorized, then to be perfectly frank, the blindfold is not even necessary because all 4 buttons have their own tone and those tones don't change. Yeah. What happened there with why Proto messed up is because he accidentally started doing the 3rd phases song instead of the 2nd phases song. Princess! And that's where we dropped.
Yeah. Now, what's going to be more impressive, because we're actually working on memorizing the minecart phase for a blindfold run. And while that's kind of like a static pattern too, it's a much longer, like you guys saw for yourself. You've got 3 shafts that you have to travel through.
Also, I just want to shout out that Princess Filet does an exceptional job of consistently being kidnapped.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All the time.
This boss fight that we're coming towards, his name is Tower of Death. We call him Todd for short. He has 100% RNG. We have no idea where he's going to expose his cores, so it's literally a guessing game from start to finish.
And this is the one that I was referencing a little bit earlier where I said there's something later on that is as much of a pain in the butt as the Steamworks, but you cannot bypass it because it's a boss. And so while you're focusing on this, I can talk about this a little bit if you want me to.
Go for it.
So the way that this boss works is you're always in a constant state of sky scroll, which A, means that you can't use any other scroll, and then B, means that you're always floating and you have to learn how to navigate that. So you just saw him hit a green eye. The green eye is not static, it is always random where it's going to show up. So you have to navigate between these rotating pillars that are rotating counter to each other while looking for the green eye that shows up and trying to hit it. Now, there's no way in the world that's going to stay in this particular fashion. They're going to, as you progress through the fight, add more bells and whistles. So as you can see here, some of the arms just went in, and now other ones have electric gates to them. So now you have to time whether or not you're going through an electric gate. Oh, by the way, if you hit the tower in any magnitude, that counts as damage. So now you have to navigate through gates and find areas that are going to be safe enough for you to go through and still look for the eye. And if that's not insulting enough, you also have a limited time window to hit that eye. So if you see the eye and you don't get there soon enough, you'll get there and it'll start closing up on you. The window is pretty generous. Ooh, that was a nice double up. That was
it was right. Yeah, that's why I made that face, because it was like right in the same position. That's never happened.
I want to say that seldom happens, but yeah. So you have to find it as fast as you can and get to it as fast as you can. So now we're on the next phase where you have to look for the green eye while it's shooting lasers. And if you're trigger happy, you'll accidentally go after one thinking it's the green eye, and you'll just get blasted. So the tower
those beams hit for 98, by the way.
Oh, so you can get blasted twice if you got no healing items, and then you get to start over. And when you start over, I think you have to go through the 3 bosses again, don't you?
When you die, that's it. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, no, it does not save. When you die on this boss, you start back from the beginning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to do all of this stuff over again. So yeah, there's pretty solid reason for why this boss gets a lot of ire from people. Oh, I forgot about this. So now you have all the eyeballs.
Yeah, but we can just avoid it like that. You'll see in a sec.
And then they do this little ray thing, and Proto stays still, just bypasses the entire thing, and then waits for the next phase to see what it throws out there. And it kind of sucks because this boss is super annoying. And this track too, I won't say it's a banger, but it's got a little bit of funness to it.
So we missed the cycle.
Yeah, so here you can see exactly what I was talking about, where it is possible, if you just don't get to it fast enough, you'll miss that cycle. And that means you have to wait for the whole next cycle to go through to get a chance to hit another one. I guess that's the game's payback for giving you 2 in the same spot.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, we weren't supposed to do that. Quick, mess them up. So yeah, this boss is annoying as hell. And then just a reminder too, if you hit those pillars at all, you will get, I'm gonna go ahead and, never mind, I know what you're doing. If you get hit at all, that counts as damage. Like there's no, oh, you just run into the pillar. No, that's a hit.
Okay, last phase. I can't tell if this is laser beams or no. Okay, the worst one. Dang it.
I say is it gonna be electric walls? I'm not caught up yet.
No, it's the. Oh, we got it.
Nice.
So out of all of the, for me personally, out of all of the phases that we have, that's the worst one for me because you're navigating through those pillars. I prefer the lasers because I just have free space to bob and weave.
Yeah.
Whenever I want.
Yeah, exactly. It just, the fact that the pillars being hit is automatic damage is like the most brutal aspect of the entire fight. So then having to go through, and it's also the part where every layer is going counter to the one above it and below it. So if you see the green eye and you happen to be going the wrong direction, now you have to figure out how to quickly hit a 180 and get to that eye as fast as you can, or establish if you can go towards it and navigate everything smoothly. It's a real nuisance of a fight. And it's also the first big fight where you don't get to do 4 to 5 hits and you're good, or 3 to 5 hits. You have to do like a good number of hits on that eye. And you don't even get anything from it. You just get to watch more story.
So here we find out Colonel Capricola was actually John, and then John gets shot immediately after his reveal. This is the leader of Thirst Quencher Empire, and the big country bumpkin that you saw earlier, that's his son. He has this like super thick German accent, and then you have Rutrick, who just sounds like he's straight out of the deep south. This is also where you find out, you know what? You've been doing the lore all night. I'm gonna let you do it.
It just, okay, so the way that the lore works here is you get the big reveal that you've been walking around trying to free the seals so that you can seal the issues that comes with Thirst Quencher Empire, trying to take over all you can eat. And the legend read that they used Lumina to seal the Dark Sorcerer. This is where you find out that it's actually reversed. The Dark Sorcerer was sealed within Dark Lumina. So you've been running around and grabbing seals to release this man, and now he's gonna try and destroy the world. Which means now you found the true final boss. Because Thirst Quencher was like, I want ultimate power so I can take over all you can eat kingdom. And everyone at the same time found out, oops, Legend's wrong. Legend's wrong.
Yep.
About that. So now your new thing is, especially since you know, Thirst Quencher Kingdom's leader is a pancake currently a pancake, and his direct heir may or may not be bleeding out, not 100% sure, but now you have to do a boss fight with the Dark Sorcerer. And the first couple of phases of it is going to be just kind of like on rails. You're going to be just running from him as he looms over you to let everyone know that he is very big and strong or whatever. And after you get through this, you're going to get a visit from somebody that you're just going to look at and go, bro, right now?
Why are you here?
Right now? Seriously? Is this God? Type of thing. So yeah, congratulations on releasing the destruction of the world. I hope you're proud of yourself.
That's what I do.
I hope you're proud of yourself. Good job on all that.
And here he is. One thing I would like to point out, it was like one of those afterthought deals. When you get the Earth Scroll for the first time, when you have Lumina talking to you, that's the Dark Magician. That's the evil wizard. He's telling you what to do to free him.
Ooh.
But you think, yeah, you don't think about that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Oh yeah, and everyone can see Kojiro is here messing up stuff. The princess gets kidnapped again. And then we get some weirdness because this is now officially the final boss of the game. And so Kojiro gets absorbed with the Dark Sorcerer, and the Dark Sorcerer immediately transforms because why wouldn't he? I literally could never figure out why this is a thing that occurred. But
I don't know why we got a cell form after the Kojiro absorption.
There's a lot of questions I have from this, but you'll see in the dialogue that now all of a sudden he's literally just preoccupied with dueling Musashi, and that's it. Like, his desire to be a rival is so mighty, he is actually taking over the Dark Sorcerer's brain and being like, I want to fight Musashi, and that's all he can focus on. And I'm gonna let you talk through this part or focus if you need to.
It's a little bit of a focus, but I can talk through it. So essentially all we're doing is just avoiding that, literally that. And the problem with that, with this section is that when he slides down, there's a heavy dip in frames. So you have to take note of how you're jumping, when you're jumping, where you're jumping. One thing you can do to make it slightly easier on you is push yourself into the wall as you hit the center of the platform.
I just want to add there too, since a little bit of focus is required. He also just doesn't stop. It's going to be on a cycle that he keeps doing this. And it's important to note that as you're going up, if you fall down or if you get hit, which in turn will lock you into falling down, that is an insta-give, I believe.
It's an insta-kill, yeah.
Yeah, that's an insta-kill.
They don't put you on the next platform. You just gotta, and now luckily you just have to redo this segment. You don't have to redo everything else. Once you get past Dark Lumina 1 where he's chasing you, you just start back at the previous part of the boss fight. So once we finish this and we, for whatever reason, die on Dark Lumina 3, we have to do Dark Lumina 2 again. So this is Boop the Snoot, the boss fight.
It is. Oh, it really is.
Boop. 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 And that's what we want. He has two attacks. One is the flame, The other is like a giant shockwave that he does from jumping. Flames are the faster of the two. You got it again?
This is another fight that this is what he does is going to be RNG based. So you really are just praying for flames, and the flames go the fastest. Oh no! I was like, what does he say?
You have to be careful because there are iframes on his again. Okay. Well, all right. Well played, game.
The game is angry that you are doing well. And for people asking in chat, this is technically not the end boss. It is a phase of the end boss, and we're gonna see more of that here in just a moment once we finish beeping that snoop. Oh, you're getting good RNG though on the fire spells. So that's dope. I know I was watching you practice, and the shockwaves is literally just like a massive size time sink because it has. Yeah, I was say it has to zoom out, it has to jump, and then you have to time yourself to jump over the waves. And then I think if you don't get there in time, it does 3 full waves, and it'll give you a few seconds to try and hit it. I think.
Okay. 1 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah, I would say, I know I was watching your practice run. You had one where it was like 0 out of 4.
Yeah.
For the flames,
So,
that is.
This is another thing that kind of makes me mad about the game. DL3 involves using fusion, something you generally don't do in any of the boss fights. And it's never implied that you should try and use it. So basically, we're going to absorb this enemy. We're going to absorb DL3, bring him back into a core form, and then strike him with Lumina. We're going to position ourselves in a way to get multiple absorptions.
And then kind of going back to the part where it never tells you that, this is quite literally the only boss that you would use fusion the same way you would to get skills off of enemies.
Yep.
The only one. So again, if you're one of those people that was a child playing this and you got to this point and you had no idea and you didn't have internet and you weren't using a guide, yeah, there's a pretty good chance that you got to this fight and you were like, I have no idea what to do.
There's our first hit. And we're going to kind of position ourselves a little bit further back. Because what's going to happen is he's going to come towards us. And I missed. But it's fine.
Yeah. And then another thing that's super frustrating, I guess their way of giving a quote unquote hint on this, and it actually looks like it's just cutting through it, like it's really weird, is the fact that the bar for the health, it's the first time that the bar is kind of like flashing to indicate something different, but there's quite literally nothing that tells you that this is going down. And the way that this fight works too is that Dark Lumina, even though it's kind of like, I hate to use a reference on Val 2 because a lot of people are going to be like, oh god, Vanessa, why'd you do this? It's kind of reminiscent to me of kind of like the ultimate being in Parasite Eve, where quite literally there's not a whole lot you can do except for a couple things here and there, especially when you get to the final form. Well, it is the same company, so that tracks, actually. Now that I've said that out loud, it's like, no, this is the same company. In Parasite Eve wasn't very far behind this. But as a result of him being the quote-unquote final boss, he has access to all the same elemental skills that you do. So he has a clone, not a clone move, he has a fire move, he has a wind move, he has like, I think he has an earth move, but he doesn't.
He doesn't have an earth move.
Okay,
water, fire, wind, and cloning. And
Okay,
of
he
course,
does
Zero
have the
clone,
fire.
which is the purple.
Yeah. Yeah, so he has access to a bunch of that stuff too. So it's kind of like...
Time's coming up now.
Yes. Oh, okay, there we go.
Sorry on the late notice on that.
No,
What?
you're fine.
Yeah.
You're perfectly fine. The other thing I want to highlight about that boss that's super frustrating is it also doesn't indicate to you that after you do the Lumina Sword, you have to hit the thing that appears afterwards, and that's what deals damage. But yeah, that's Brave vs. Musashi. That's it. That's the whole thing. Like I said, I've been so hyped for this run because I agree with a lot of the community at large that this game has aged very, very terribly, but it holds a near and dear place in my heart because it was amongst the catalog of games that, as someone who didn't have a lot of money and didn't have a lot of tech in her house, absolutely, this was one of the ones that made it into the catalog of things I got a chance to play. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely adore it. I cannot thank you enough for having this run in the marathon.
Yo, like, just, this has been, I mean, obviously it's been a goal of mine to get into GDQ, but more so anything else, to get this run specifically. This has been something that the entire community has been pushing for. We would absolutely love to see this on a main GDQ event, like the summer games done quickly, awesome games done quick. We've actually had this on another GDQ event, Frame Fatale. I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
It's Frame Fatale.
Okay.
It's either for Flame, it's Flame for summer and Frost for winter.
Gotcha. So it was the Frost. It was the Frost one. And the run was done by one of our runners named Eliza. And she did an exceptionally good job on it. But coming in and having the run done not once, but twice in the same year for GDQ events has been just an astronomical thing for the community. And we thank you guys for allowing us to have the opportunity to even run it.
I love this, and I think it's evident too from everyone listening in. I enjoyed commentating this like to the utmost degree because it's a game that I know very well just from playing it. I loved everything about it. I love the puns. I love the gameplay. And I cannot stress enough. I'm so happy that the community is happy about this. I'm just happy I got to see one of my childhood games in a marathon. Like, I am so pleased, so pleased. Before we get out of here, I did want you to have some time to give out your thank yous, tell everyone where they can find you and what you're up to.
Okay, so thank you again for having me. Again, my name is Protokami. I do an assortment of things, primarily just speedrunning. Brave Fencer Musashi is my main. I will be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern for a run of The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Super fun run. Speedruns aside, I do a lot of retro stuff. I build things, honestly, on a whim. I also do a side event called Scrub City. Basically, we do tournaments of all kinds of retro stuff. We did a game called Landmaker. I don't know if you guys have Fightcade or not, but if you have Fightcade, get on Fightcade, look up Landmaker. It is like the funnest puzzle VS game that I've ever played. But we also do Tatsunoko versus Capcom. We're going to be going into the Street Fighter series.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Let's go.
I run TVC beginners tournaments. So if you're trying to get into TVC or you're interested in it, that's the best place to start. And we will be picking that back up. Outside of that, if you enjoy tech stuff, like weirdly obscure tech stuff, if you enjoy the speed runs that I'm doing, if you just enjoy seeing what I've done tonight, and you like me as a person, feel free to drop a follow. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. It's just Protokami, no underscore on the end. There's a story behind that I'm not going to really get into. But yeah, for those of you that are interested in the run, join the Discord. We are always looking for and happy to help new runners. First part of the run is a bit of a flog, but it's one of those things that once you get it, you got it. We've had a lot of amazing runners come through and start off from the beginning, and they've just turned into just absolutely amazing speedrunners for their respective categories. We have any percent, 100%, and glitchless for both of those. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm grateful and thankful for everybody who came through. It's always amazing to hear and see people have such a fondness and love for this game. I smile every time. Every time I would see somebody talk about, hey, it's BFM. Like I would internally smile, just seeing people enjoy the game as much as they have.
Listen, if I could get, okay, here's my dream for the chat and for everyone to bully about GDQ. If I could get like a dedicated 90s Squaresoft block at an AGDQ. When I say that
my
would
God.
make my year, it would be so lit. It would be so good. Like I'd call off the whole workday and be like, I gotta watch this whole block, the whole thing, everything. Vanessa, you didn't play some of these games. Don't matter. It's Squaresoft in the banger era. I gotta watch it. I have to. I don't have a choice. But yes, so thank you so much for bringing on your run. Again, I am ecstatic that I got to see this, and maybe I'm wrong because chat's saying they think it aged pretty decently. So maybe I have on some crappy nostalgia glasses. Maybe the wine cellar might see a Brave and Musashi run come from the crypt. Who knows? But yeah,
I want to see you play the sequel. I want to see you go through Samurai Legend,
oh my god, do I have to? I've heard so many bad things.
and that's why I want you to experience it. And I'm pretty sure your wine celery will feel the same way.
Oh god, they do enjoy me being tortured. But yeah, like a block with Parasite Eve, Brave Prince Musashi, guys, maybe like we'll pick a Final Fantasy. We'll have to poll for that. Oh yeah, that would be a banger block, but that'd also be a really long block. I'm gonna go ahead and cut myself off and remind everybody, we're gonna go ahead and take a few minutes to get situated and set up for our next run. We're gonna be going a completely different direction and bringing in some Quake Remastered with some faces that you saw yesterday. Take this time to get up, stretch, grab yourself a water, or if you're like me, grab your desperately needed second thing of caffeine, and we'll be back here in just a couple of moments.